Hi, I'm Vikrant Paracha. Welcome you all in my YouTube channel. Our today's subject of discussion is income from salary. In this webinar, I will provide you all the information related to the income from salary. Income from salary it is very important unit for the students of AY and MCOM also. So without wasting much time, let's begin the subject. Income from salary. It is one of the income which is taxable according to the Income Tax Act 1961. There are total five heads of income. Those are taxable under the Income Tax Act 1961. First one is the income from salary. Second one is the income from house property. Third one is the income from business and profession. Fourth one is the income from capital gain. And last, income from salary. First of all, the meaning of the salary. General meaning of the salary. Salary is a continuous and regular sort of payment getting by the employee from the employer due to the contract of employment. So it is the payment made by the employer to employee because employee is rendering the services to the employer, and therefore it is the continuous payment made by the employer to employer. Example monthly. Okay, but the section of Income Tax Act 1961, that is the section 17(1), defines the inclusive definition of the salary. As per section 17(1), salary includes following. Number one, wages. Number two, any annuity or pension. Number three, any gratuity. Number four, any fees, commission, perquisites, or profits in lieu of the salary. Number five, advance salary. Number six, new salary. Number seven, annual accreditation to the provident fund. And number eight, it is contribution made by central government to the employee pension scheme. So this is the inclusive definition of the salary that provides as per the section 71 of the Income Tax Act 1960. All such kind of incomes, those are earned, all those are taxable under the salary and also considered part of the salary. Now, how to compute the income from salary? So while computing the income from salary, first of all, we have to consider basic salary that is given by the employee. Under the basic salary, we have to add taxable allowances. Which kind of allowances are there? What is the taxability of this? Later on, we have to discuss. So under the basic salary, first of all, add all taxable allowances, then add all taxable perquisites. We have to also taxable allowances and taxable perquisites in a basic salary. The amount we are getting, that amount is called as the gross salary. Once we computed the gross salary, from that we have to deduct deductions under section 16. There are three deductions under section 16. First one is the standard deduction. There is a fixed amount of standard deduction, it is of this 50,000. Then second deduction is the entertainment allowance. Entertainment allowance is given as a deduction to the government sector employees, but it is not deductible for the private sector employee, that you have to remember. And number third one is the professional tax paid. These three deductions we have to deduct from the gross salary. And then finally, the income we are getting, that income is called as the income from salary. So in this way, in this format, we have to compute the income from salary. Once again, I am repeating it. First of all, consider the basic salary. Then in the basic salary, add gross salary. From this gross salary, we have to deduct the deductions under section 16. In that, number one is the standard deduction, which is a fixed amount of rupees 50,000. Then second one is the entertainment allowance. It is deductible for the government employee and not deductible for the private sector employee. And then the third deduction, it is the progression tax. Or after deducting these three deductions from the gross salary, the amount we are getting, that is called as the income from salary. So in this way, we have to compute the income from salary. Understood? Of the computation of the income from salary. Now the next part, it is the allowances. Allowances is considered as a part of the salary. So first of all, what is the meaning of the allowances? Allowance is generally defined as a fixed quantity of money given regularly in addition to salary for the purpose of meeting some particular requirement connected with service rendered by the employee or as compensation for unusual condition for that service. So allowances, those are the rendering the services in unusual condition. That amount getting by the employee from the employer as a part of the salary is called as the allowances. Understood the meaning of the allowances? So there are two types of the allowances. First one is the fully taxable allowances, and second one is the partly taxable allowances. So now we'll discuss which are the fully taxable allowances and which are the partly taxable allowances. So first of all, fully taxable allowances. In that, first one is the dearness allowance. Dearness allowance is fully taxable allowance. Dearness allowance is received by the employee from the employer for bearing the cost of living, and always it is fully taxable. The next one is the city compensatory allowance. The employees, those are staying in the city, we know the cost of living in the city is very high. For example, is Mumbai, Pune, Chennai, these are the metro cities. And staying in this city, that as compared to other cities, the cost of living in such city, which is very high. Therefore, to bear the extra burden of the cost of living, such kind of allowance is provided by the employer to the employee, and it is called as the city compensatory allowance, which is also fully taxable. The next one is the fixed medical allowance. To bear the medical expenses, the allowance given by the employee from the employer is called as the medical allowance, and it is also fully taxable. The next one is the tiffin or lunch or dinner or refreshment allowance. These allowances are allowance. Suppose for the employee, any kind of servant provided by the employer, and for such a servant, employer is providing any kind of allowance. That allowance is called as the servant allowance, which is also fully taxable. The next one is the project allowance. If employee those are working on the special project, such kind of allowance given by the employee from those employee, they are performing extra duties or they are working extra for extra time in the organization. At that time, they are getting such kind of allowance. It is called as the overtime allowance, which is also fully taxable. The next one is the interim allowance. Interim allowance is also considered as the fully taxable. And then any other cash, any other allowances given by the employee in the form of cash, all those allowances are considered as a fully taxable allowances. So this is the list. These all the listed allowances, these are considered as the fully taxable allowances. Now next one is the partly taxable allowance. Partly taxable allowances means what? Some part of these allowances is exempted and some part is the taxable. Means some part is tax free and some part is the taxable. So now which are those? In that, number one comes is the children amount up to 2 children. So any children education allowance getting by the employee from the employer. This amount is exempted up to is 100 per month, maximum up to 2 children. The next one comes is the hostel expenditure allowance. Suppose the chief employee is staying in the hostel for the education. At that time, such amount is received by the employee from the employer, and this amount is exempted rupees 300 per month per child, maximum up to 2 children. It is 300 per month per child, maximum up to 3 children. That is the hostel expenditure. The next one is the transport allowance. Transport allowance is taxable in case of the normal person and rupees 1600 per month exempted in case of the blind or handicapped person. That is the most important. If the person is normal without any disability, at that time transport allowance is fully taxable allowance. And if the person is blind or handicapped, at that time will be 1600 per month. Please taxable. Now next allowance is the house rent allowance. The employee, those are staying in the rented house, to such employees, this allowance is provided by the employer and it is also partly taxable and partly exempted. Now, there are three conditions for the exemption. The amount from these three conditions which is lower, that is treated as exempted. That condition number one is actual house rent allowance received. Condition number two, rent paid minus 10% of the salary. And condition number three, 40% of salary when employee is resident of any other city, or 50% of salary when the employee is resident of the metro city, that is Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, and Bangalore. From these three, the amount which is lower, that amount is exempted. Once again, I am repeating the condition. Condition number one, actual house rent allowance received. Condition number two, rent paid minus 10% of salary. And condition number three, 40% of salary in any other city, or, or 50% of salary in metro city, that is Delhi. For the calculation of the exempted HRA, the formula of the salary. Salary is equal to basic salary plus dearness allowance if it is the part of employment or applicable for the retirement benefit, plus commission if it is received in fixed percentage on turnover or sales. It is the formula of the salary. Equal to basic salary plus dearness allowance if applicable, means if it is a part of employment or part of the retirement benefit, plus commission if it is given in fixed percentage on sales or turnover. It is the formula of the salary for the calculation of exempted HRA. Understood how to calculate the exempted HRA. Now the next allowance, undercount allowance is given to those employees, those are working in the mines. And the exemption limit is rupees 8,800 per month is exempt. Rupees 800 per month is exempt. The next allowance is the compensatory field area allowance. These are given to the armed forces persons. And the exemption limit is rupees 2,600 per month is exempted. The next one is the uniform allowance. Suppose this allowance is given to the employees those are having the uniform while at that time the amount which is actually used from the provided amount, that amount is exempted. The amount which is actually used from the provided amount, that amount is exempted. The rest of the amount is fully taxable. Then tribal area allowance. These are also given to the armed forces and the amount is rupees 200 per month is exempted, rest of the amount is taxable. The next allowance is the traveling allowance. Traveling allowance is given to the employee also. The amount which is actually used, the amount which is actually used, that amount is taxable, and the amount which is unused, that amount will be taxable. So these are some kind of allowances. Those are considered as a partly taxable allowances. Once again, I am repeating. First of all, children education allowance, it is exempted, it is 100 per month, maximum of two children. Hostel expenditure allowance, it is exempted, rupees per month, maximum up to two children. Transport allowance, it is fully taxable in case of normal person, and it is 1600 per month exempted in case of blind or handicapped person. Next one is the house rent allowance. From the following three conditions, the amount which is lower, that is exempted. Number one is the actual house rent allowance received. Number two is the rate paid minus resident of metro city like Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Chennai, and Bangalore. And for the calculation of the salary for HRA, the formula of the salary is basic salary plus dearness allowance if it is the part of plus commission if it is given in fixed percentage on sales of turnover. The next one is the underground allowance. It is rupees 800 per month exempted. Compensatory field area allowance. It is rupees 2,600 per month exempted. Uniform allowance, the amount which is actually utilized, that one is exempted. Tribal area allowance rupees 200 per month is traveling allowance, the amount which is actually utilized is exempted. So this is about the partly taxable allowance. So in this way, we have to deal with the taxability of the allowances. Now next one is that is the perquisites. Perquisites is defined as benefits attached to an office or position in addition to salary or wages. These are the extra benefits. These benefits may be in the kind, maybe in the money. So it is provided in cash or in kind. These perquisites, this may be provided by employee to employee in the form of cash or in the form of kind. So these are the extra advantages. These are the extra benefits are attached with the salary, maybe in kind, maybe in cash by the employer to the employee. Now, how to determine the taxability of the perquisites? So there are perquisites. While deal with the perquisites, we have to determine their taxability. So now we have to discuss which are the taxable, which are exempted, and how to calculate the taxable value of the perquisites provided by the employer to employee. So first of all, any professional tax paid by the employer on behalf of the employee. Any professional tax paid by the employer on behalf of the employee is taxable under the salary, but it is deductible under section 16. So any professional tax paid by the employer on behalf of the employee, that amount is fully taxable in salary, but deductible under section 16. The next one, income tax paid by employer on behalf of the employee. Income tax paid by the employer on behalf of the employee, that is fully taxable. The next one is the facility of server, watchman, gardener, cook provided by the employer to employee. So any expenditure on such a facility, that is fully taxable in income from salary. Any facility of servant, watchman, gardener, cook provided by the employer to employer on such expenses provided, that is fully taxable. Then medical facility provided by the employer or hospital bill which is reimbursed by the employer to employee. This is also facility provided, any kind of hospital bill reimbursed by the employer to employee. This amount is fully taxable. The next one is education facility. Education facility means what? The employees' children, those are studying in the school or institution which is run by the employer. This is the meaning of education. So in this, there are two conditions. If it is provided to the employee children, if education facilities provided to the employee children, it is exempted rupees 1,000 per month, and rest of the amount is taxable. However, rupees 1,000 per month is exempted. And then if it is provided to employee's household, means it is provided to employee household member, at that time it is fully taxable. Understood the two condition of the education facility? If it is provided to the employee children, at that time rupees 1,000 per month is exempt. And if it is provided, understood? Any educational scholarship provided by employer to employee, it is fully exempted. Any kind of educational scholarship which is provided by the employer to employee, it is fully exempted. It is leave. The next one is gift or token provided to employee. Gift, voucher or token provided to the employee. If this gift it is in kind, so up to rupees 5,000 exempted, the rest of the amount is taxable. If it is in kind, up to rupees 5,000 is exempted, and rest of the amount is taxable. It is in cash, and that time it will be taxable. So any gift provided in kind up to rupees 5,000 per month is exempted, and if it is in cash, at that time it will be taxable. Understood? The next, free clothes, personal attendant, holiday home facility provided by the employer. Free clothes, personal holiday facility provided by the employer. This is fully exempted or this is fully tax free. Okay. Then free meal facility or lunch facility provided by the employer. Free meal facility provided by the employer. Exempted rupees 50 per meal. This is exempted up to rupees 50 per meal. Okay. Suppose the cost of the meal is 52. So how much is exempted? Rupees 50. And if this facility is provided during meeting, official meeting, at that time it is fully tax free. Okay. The next one is free gas, electricity bill facility provided by the employer. Free gas, water, and electricity bill facility provided by the employer. It is fully taxable. This facility is fully taxable for people. Any kind of computer or laptop given to the employee, any kind of computer or laptop facility, this is also fully taxable. So this is the taxability of the perquisites. Okay. Some perquisites are there. For those perquisites, we have to calculate its taxable value. So in that, the first one comes by unfurnished and furnished rent-free accommodation. Many times, employer they are providing the accommodation facility to their employees. This accommodation is unfurnished. Sometimes this accommodation is furnished. At that time, it is necessary to determine how much is the taxable value of the furnished as well as unfurnished accommodation. Okay. So first of all, we have to know what are the rules regarding the as well as furnished accommodation taxable valuation. So there are three conditions. Okay, there are three conditions according to which the taxable value is found out, and these conditions are depends upon the population of the city where the accommodation is provided. If the population of the city is 10 lakhs or less than that, if the population of the city is 10 lakhs or less than that, at that time it is taxable is 7.5% of the salary. If the population of the city is more than 10 lakhs but less than 25 lakhs, if the population of the city is more than 10 lakhs but less than 25 lakhs. At that time, the taxable value is 10% of the salary. It is 10% of the salary. And third condition is the population of the city is more than 22,001 census of India. Three conditions: if the population is 10 lakhs or less than that, and that is salary. If the population is more than 10 lakhs but less than 25 lakhs, at that time 10% of the salary. And if the population is more than 25 lakhs, at that time it is 15% of the salary. So in this way, first to determine the valuation of the accommodation. If it is the unfurnished accommodation, then according to these three conditions, we can get the value. But if it is the furnished accommodation, first of all, we have to determine the value as per these three conditions, and then we have to add 10% cost of the furniture. 10% of the furniture that we have to add if it is furnished accommodation. And if any amount is recovered from the employee in such relation, that amount we have to deduct. If it is recovered, then we have to deduct. So in this, determine the valuation of the furnished as well as unfurnished accommodation. And next thing, each accommodation is taken on rent or hired by the employer, and that time the value. There are two conditions. Okay, from these two conditions, the amount whichever is less, the amount whichever is lower, that one is the taxable. Only two conditions are there. First condition is what? 15% of salary. And second condition is the actual salary. The amount which is lower from these two, that amount is the taxable valuation. When the accommodation is taken on rent or hire employer. Understood? And last condition, if the accommodation is provided in the hotel, accommodation is provided in the hotel. Again, two conditions are there. The amount whichever is lower from these two is taxable. First condition is what? Actual charges paid to the hotel. Actual charges paid to the hotel or 24% of salary. The amount whichever is from these two, that amount is the taxable amount. Okay. And for the purpose of the valuation of accommodation, the formula of the salary. Salary is equal to this plus dearness allowance if it is a part of employment plus bonus of current year plus fees plus commission plus all other taxable allowances. It is the formula of the salary for the calculation of the salary is equal to basic salary plus dearness allowance if applicable plus bonus of current year plus fees plus all other taxable allowances. So in this way, we have to determine the value of the accommodation. Once again, I am repeating this. First of all, if accommodation is owned by the employer and if it is unfurnished or furnished, according to the three conditions, we have to determine. The first condition is less than that, and that time 7.5% of salary. If population of the city is more than 10 lakhs but less than 25 lakhs, and that time 10% of salary. And if city is more than 25 lakhs, and that time 15% of salary. According to these three conditions, first of all, calculate the valuation. Then, if the furnished, then add 10% of furniture. If any amount is recovered from the employee, deduct that amount. You can get taxable valuation. If it is taken on rent or hired by the employer, at that time, lower of the two conditions. First condition, salary, and second, actual rate paid. Whichever is lower, that is the taxable valuation. If the accommodation is provided in the hotel, at that time, lower of the two means paid to the hotel or 24% of salary. Which one is lower, that amount is taxable valuation. And for this purpose, the formula of the salary salary is basic salary plus dearness allowance if it is a part of employment plus bonus year plus fees plus commission plus all other taxable allowances. Understood is about the valuation of the accommodation. Now next one, valuation of motor car. Many a times a motor facility is provided by the employer. So in such condition, we have to find out several valuation of the motor car. So in that first condition, car is employer or it is hired by car is owned by employer or it is hired by. This is the first condition. In such condition, the car is utilized for official purpose. At that time, the amount is tax free. There is no need to calculate the value. Full amount is exempted when it is totally utilized for the official purpose. Second thing, when it is utilized for the private purpose, at that time, amount is calculated in such a way. Actual running and maintenance expenses plus driver's remuneration plus depreciation at the rate 10% per annum. When, when it is utilized for the actual running and maintenance expenses plus driver's remuneration plus depreciation at the rate 10% per annum. When suppose if car is hired by the employer and utilized for the private purpose at that time, higher charges, less amount recovered from employer. In this way, the calculation is done when car is only utilized for the private purpose. And the last and third condition, if car is utilized for health as well as private purpose. At that time, if the running and maintenance expenses paid by if running and maintenance expenses paid by the employer, the valuation is set as per the condition. Suppose CC means cubic capacity of the car is up to 1600 cc or less than that. If the cubic capacity is up to 1600 cc or less than that, at that time the taxable value is 1800 per month plus rupees 900 per month. Driver's salary is 1008 plus rupees 900 per month. Driver's salary if driver is provided. If the cubic capacity with CC of the car is more than 600 cc. At that time, the taxable value is rupees 2400 per month plus rupees 900 per month driver if driver provided. Understood? These two conditions are there when running and maintenance expenses paid by the employer. And then if running and maintenance expenses paid by the employer. If in this condition cubic capacity is up to 1600 cc, at that time the valuation is rupees 1600 cc. At that time the valuation is rupees 900 per month plus rupees 900 per month driver's salary if driver is provided. So this in this way the motor car valuation is done when car owned by employer or it is hired by employer. When car is owned by employer, once again I am repeating, here if it is used for official purpose only, then it is exempted. If it is used for private purpose, at that time actual running and maintenance expenses plus driver's remunerations, depreciation at the rate 10% per annum. And if it is utilized for the private as well as official purpose at that time, first condition, if running and maintenance expenses borne by employer at that time, if the cubic capacity of car is up to 1600 cc or less than that, at that time the valuation is rupees 1800 per month plus rupees 900 per driver salary if driver is provided. And if the cubic capacity cc is more than maintenance expenses paid by the employer. At that time, if the capacity is 1600 cc or less than that, it is rupees 600 per month plus rupees 900 per month driver salary if driver is full. And if the cubic capacity is more than 1600 cc, then rupees 900 per month plus rupees 900 per month driver salary if driver is provided. So these car is done when it is owned by the employer. And also the second condition is there where car is owned by employee. At that time, if it is used for official purpose, at that time again it will be exempted. If it is used for private purpose only, at that time actual expenses incurred by employer less amount recovered from employee. And if it is used for official and private purpose. So in such condition, number one, if running and maintenance expenses paid by employer. At that time, actual expenses less rupees 900 per month driver salary if driver is provided. And if maintenance expenses paid by employee himself, at that time it is need. It is exempt. Understood? So these are the in when car is owned by employer. Once again, I am repeating, car is owned by employer. Once again, I am repeating, it is used for official purpose. It is fully tax-free. Exempted used for private purpose only. Then actual expenses incurred by employer, less amount recovered from employee. And if I running and maintenance expenses paid by employer. So in this condition, actual expenses less rupees 900 per month driver's salary. And if the running and maintenance expenses paid by the employee, at that time it is exempted. So in this way, the valuation of motor car is done. Okay. And now the final point regarding the inquiry, it is the provident fund calculation. That is also the important one. Okay. Provident now is what? Provident fund is related to the future considerations of the employee. That's why it is provided from the employer to employee. There are four types of provident fund: statutory provident fund, recognized provident fund, unrecognized provident fund, and public provident. So in relation, we have discussed what is the taxability of these funds in the salary. First of all, employer's contribution. Employer's contribution to the statutory provident fund is fully exempted. Employer's contribution to the recognized provident fund it is also fully exempted. Employers contribute to the unrecognized provident fund it is taxable, fully taxable. And employer's contribution to the provident fund it is not applicable. Okay, understood? The next one is the employee's contribution. Employee's contribution to the statutory provident fund. It is also exempted. Employee's contribution to the statutory provident fund is exempted. To the recognized provident fund, it is exempted. To the unrecognized provident fund, it is fully taxable. And to the public provident fund, it is exempted. Then employers contribute up to 12% of salary. It is exempted up to 12% of salary. And then employers' contribution to the unrecognized provident fund it is fully taxable. And employers' contribution to the public provident fund it is not applicable. Okay. Once again, I am repeating: employers' contribution to the statutory provident fund fully exempted. Employers' contribution to the recognized provident fund exempted up to 12% of salary. And employers' contribution to the unrecognized provident fund is fully taxable, and employers' contribution to the public provident fund is not applicable. Then interest credited to the statutory is fully exempted. Interest credited to the recognized provident fund is exempted to 0.5%. Interest credited to the unrecognized provident fund it is fully taxable, and interest credited to the public provident fund it is exempted. Once again, I am repeating: interest credited to the statutory provident fund is fully exempted. Interest credited to the recognized provident fund It is exempted up to 9.5% of the 9.5%, and then interest related to the unrecognized provision on it is fully exempted. And now, in this way, in this way, this is about the provident fund. Okay, so all these points we have discussed. Regarding this point, we have to compute the income from salary. To understand this point in a better way, you just solve the problem regarding the income from salary. First of all, I am reading the problem. Just remember the things, and then we can solve this in practical. Then we can understand the income from salary in a very better way. So, problem is Mr. Ashok working in Alpha Company Limited, Mumbai, furnished following information for the financial year 2019-20. Compute his taxable income from salary for the assessment year 2009 2020. So he has furnished his details on the salary. Under that, number one is given basic salary, rupees 50,000 per month. Number second, dearness allowance, rupees 20,000 per month. And the information given that it is considered for retirement benefits, means it is a part of it. Number third one is the bonus during the year, rupees 80,000. Number four, children education allowance, rupees 300 per month.